Hey, hello. Right, what I want to show you today is onion sets. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're grown from seed. I imagine I'm going to look into starting to do these myself, but I bought these from the local garden centre, and they're onions that have been germinated and then grown into tiny little bulbs, and then traditionally in the UK we plant these out middle of March. If it's been really cold, sometimes wait till the end of March. But what happened to me last year is the same as it is now, 2026, rain constantly. So they were soaked in the ground and they were really cold. Whereas all the rest of the other years that I've done them, we've had a nice spring, it's been quite dry, and they've done really well. And I like to get them in early because they've already grown a little bit. What we don't want them to do is to think that they've gone through a winter and then go to seed straight away, which sometimes happens when it's dry. And that's why, if you watch the last video, and in front of, on these propagator trays here, that's the onions sown from seed. And that's what I want to do, to try and avoid having to buy, reliance on buying onion sets from the garden centre, but also in the name of self-sufficiency and self-production, get these in a way growing now. Might as well take advantage of the polytunnel. And I've seen this on a, like everybody, you're learning from me, or possibly you've seen this before, you've seen this on other channels, but I've seen this technique on a channel the other day. I can't remember what it was. It was just a picture of it, I think, on the thumbnail, but I recognised it straight away and thought, what a really good idea. So what we're going to do, rather than put them out in the veg garden now or in a couple of weeks and risk it being really wet and cold again and then possibly rotting, I don't know if they rotted, but they just didn't really do anything. And by the time the sun came around, they were looking a little bit sad. So all we're going to do, we're going to use modular seed planting trays for this, and I've just cut these down. These were great big ones from when I was doing a little bit more market gardening. I've just cut these down to go into our little propagator trays, and there's 5 by 8 there, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 40. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I probably use more than 40 onions. I don't know if you've ever counted how many onions you use, but I imagine I'm going to want more than 40 onions. So this is not only a good way to easily see how many you've got, but what's happening and why I think this is a good idea. If I could just get something to show you that, well, that's not a very good example. That's starting to go a little bit rotten. But some of them are just starting to grow now. Just starting to get little green shoots on them. And what I don't want them to do is start growing green shoots and then feeding on the food stored in the bulb, because we want that to grow. And I think that's maybe a way that they sometimes go to seed early. Anyway, let's get on with it. So all we're going to do, our seed compost. This is something I make myself from old bits of bark and rotten wood, and some horse manure I managed to get luckily from a riding stables, which looks mostly just like pellets of grass, to tell you the truth. I'll just load that up. Luckily any big bits come onto the top. I did sieve this, but not with a really fine sieve. And just to get it, as long as you don't want really fine seed compost, sometimes I use one of the old mushroom crates, they're blue or black sometimes. Yeah, just anything to get the big lumps out of it. But again, getting in there with your fingers and just breaking it all up. We don't want this to be too compact, it's just so the roots can get a little start to absorb some nutrients and not feed on themselves, which I imagine is what happens. Right, let's give that a little tap down, get rid of any surplus. There's a schoolboy here, it's a little bit crumbly still. And then what we'll do, once we've got the onion sets in there, I'll flood the tray. One of my favourite words. And if you're trying to water stuff from the top, and it's sometimes dry, the water runs off of it, and that's what they call hydrophobic. I love that word. Right, let's get our onion sets out. So what we'll do is just pop one, obviously with the roots facing down. I probably just said that because sometimes when I've done them in the garden before, I've not looked too carefully and planted some of them upside down. And I'm finding as I press them down, it compacts the soil a little bit anyway. Yeah, I think I've definitely, and you can see there, that one's growing, and what it's done, the actual onion now is depleted. I suppose it's got no way of growing that unless it feeds on itself. As you can see, it's just got little roots coming out of it, but that one, I'm not going to use that one because that's already too far gone. Put that to one side. So yeah, when I seen this, I thought, well, what a great idea to get over that problem of getting them not just growing early, but if they are starting to grow and it's too cold to put them outside and too wet, this is also gonna let me know exactly how many I've got. I thought I had enough to do about 80 or 100. Some of them may not grow. My granddad used to say a great thing about gardening. My granddad used to grow all his own veg when my mum and all my aunties and uncle were little, and he used to say, especially for putting seeds out and growing plants outside, he'd say one for yourself and one for nature. Yeah, there's a few of these are already slightly rotting, so we'll put those to one side. We'll only use the best ones. I don't know if you grew up in a household or had family or relatives that grew vegetables. It seemed to be a thing that everybody done years ago. There you go. Just bring them up there. I don't want to tip them up too much because they just all fell over. So what we'll do now is we'll just flood that tray. We'll put about 1 inch of water in the bottom of there. Pop the top on in a minute. Again, not just to keep the warmth in there, but also for rodents, mice, slugs. And I notice this time of year, onions they're quite sweet, aren't they, when you cook them? They must have quite a lot of sugars in them. But I noticed up in the veg garden, I've just had to net over the garlic. Looks like mice have been eating the tops off. But yeah, cover them over, not just for warmth, keep the moisture in there, but also keep the rodents out. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Very simple way of, if you've bought your onion sets now, or you're going to buy them soon and you don't want to put them straight out into the garden and get them going, especially if they're going to start to grow themselves and feed on themselves, this is a great way. Thank you ever so much for watching, and as always, please like, subscribe and share, and a massive thank you to all of those who already have, and thank you for your comments that you've put in recently. Absolutely brilliant. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching again.